The second Sunday in December, of course, for those 4 international Group 1s. The Wednesday before is IJC night at Happy Valley as well. You'll find all the details on the website, hkjc.com, a special campaign website there with all the news, track work interviews, videos as well, heading towards the big day. I'm joined by Bill Nader, who's Director of Racing Business and Operations here for the Hong Kong Jockey Club, to look ahead to the big meeting as well. We've already looked in part 1 at some of the local runners and the leading challenges as well. We're going to have a look at the international challenges now and the selected runners, starting off with the sprints and the big names here, the 2 Japanese horses, Dan on Smash and Tower of London. And Inferno, a really interesting contender coming over from Singapore as well. Zach Purton will jump in the saddle there, as I understand it. And the mile lineup looks like this: Order of Australia, Lope Fernandez, Robinized, Admire Mars back to defend his crown, Bill, and he's probably a good place to start as far as the mile is concerned. But Order of Australia, a little bit of a surprise in America with his last start win at a Grade 1 level, but deserves plenty of respect as well.
Well, he shocked the world winning the Breeders' Cup Mile because he was out of gate 14 on the tight turning track at Keeneland, 73-1, but he won it. And now we'll see if he can back it up and validate it in the Hong Kong Mile, but he's really surprised a lot of people, including, I think, the people at Coolmore. But it was a legitimate win, and he comes in with a big chance. Admire Mars, a big run in the Mile Championship. Gran Alegria won the race. She's in a different class, but she's not coming. So Admire Mars, defending champ. We'll see what he can do, but it's going to be a tough race for Golden 60, but a great race to watch.
Absolutely, and Romanized brings Group 1 winning form to the table as well. As far as the sprint is concerned, a lot of respect for the 2 Japanese horses and the Singapore runner as well. What do we know about him?
Well, he's the unknown quantity, 8 of 9 in Singapore, but now he'll be tested for class, but he certainly has ability. And, we remember Rocket Man, who was a top sprinter in Singapore, but we'll see how good Inferno is. To be honest, he doesn't have a chance to really, you don't get a read on him because he just keeps beating the Singaporean horses. But now he steps up and faces new competition, so we'll really get a good line on him in the sprint. Dan and Smash, he's a good horse. And he's coming back to Hong Kong. If he draws a gate, he's going to have a big chance.
Yeah, and Tower of London, the second of the Japanese runners, is a winner, Group 1 winner at the international level as well. So, a lot of respect, as always, for these Japanese horses when they turn up in Hong Kong.
Yep, and it's also a Godolphin runner. So we have Coolmore and Godolphin represented on the day. Tower of London is a Group 1 winner, but will have to improve, I think, to really make his presence felt on the 13th of December.
All right, well, let's have a look at the selected runners for the Vase and the Cup as well. Starting off with the Cup and Magical. I mean, this is just a wonderful mare to have running at any meeting. Magical, a 7-time Group or Grade 1 winner. Scaletti brings great form over from France as well. The Japanese runners, Dan on Premium. Winbright, 2 from 2 here at Sha Tin. He's taken off 2 of our biggest prizes. Nomcore as well. And Peaceful, who's a classic winner coming from Ireland as well. But it is Magical who sort of heads the ratings there, and Mogul does the same, Bill, in the Vase as well. A small field. We've got Royal Julius also deserves definitely some respect as well. But maybe start with the Vase here, and with the greatest respect to the other runners. The 2 big names there are Mogul, who's starting to realise some of his early 3-year-old potential with that great win last time at an Exultant, the local hope.
Well, Mogul will get £5 from Exultant, and because he's a 3-year-old. He's a 3-year-old turning 4 on the 1st of January, but he will get £5 on the weight scale. That will give him, a little bit of an edge, I think. Exultant seems to be giving weight every time he runs. And Mogul, his run in the Breeders' Cup Turf was better than the outcome. He had some trouble in the run. He's a legitimate Coolmore horse, and he's dangerous, and that's really the matchup, I think, in the Vase. Casper has Columbus County, who's improving, and you mentioned Royal Julius, but I think the top 2 really stick out.
Yeah, they certainly do. An Exultant trying to reclaim the crown that he lost last year to Glory Vase. As far as the Cup is concerned, Magical, beaten in the latest Breeders' Cup race in the turf there, but winner of the Irish Champion Stakes this year, and a 7-time Group 1 winner, looking for her 8th here in Hong Kong.
Well, that would be a record for trainer Aidan O'Brien. He's had a few that have won 7, but none that have won 8 Group 1s. Beauty Generation has won 8 Group 1s, and now Magical is trying to get there for Aidan O'Brien, and you have to love her. I mean, she's run, in her last 17 races, She's been 1-2 in 15 of those races, and she's running at top level. So she's just amazing, and we're very fortunate to have her here on the big day. Scaletti, similar story. He's never runs a bad race. He's won 12 out of 16. He's never won a Group 1, but look at his rating. He's rated right up there at 121. So you know that he's capable, top horse. And Danon Premium, also sneaky good. I mean, he'll be overlooked a little bit, but his form stacks up pretty well. So this is a terrific race, and one that we're really looking forward to. And for Hong Kong, we mentioned Fiore at the top of the show. He'll be our best chance, but when you look at that field, so much depth, so much quality, that's the kind of race you expect. The Hong Kong Sprint, the Hong Kong Mile, Hong Kong Cup, those are the richest races in the world at their respective distances on turf for Group 1 races. So, that's why this flagship day is so important, not only to Hong Kong and Asia, but all across the world.
Bill, just one question on final thing here. Of all the people you had to convince to come back this time round, I wouldn't think that Winbright's connections took too much convincing, though.
I left him out. Thank you, Andrew, for mentioning him. No, I mean, this is Hong Kong has made his career, and you talk about a horse for the course. He's the one, and while his recent form, you wouldn't think he can compete this time against this field, because I think it's just much better than last year. You have to remember the races at Sha Tin, and that's right in his corner and right to his favor. So we'll see, but certainly a horse for the course, and certainly in terms of Hong Kong history, he's made his mark. Yeah, he's certainly, for whatever reason, he comes alive here in Hong Kong. That's Winbright. To learn more about him and the rest of the Japanese runners, we can hear from Murray Johnson, who chatted with Ed early in the week.
Let's talk about the international meeting. It's a meeting that Japanese horses have had great success at over the years. Last year was no exception when they won 3 of the 4 Group 1 races on the day. On Wednesday, we had the announcement as to what international horses will be here, and a strong contingent from Japan. What do you make of the Japanese entries for HKR 2020?
Not as good as what it could be or could have been, unfortunately. With the major problem is not necessarily the horses. I think it's the jockeys, because most of the jockeys don't want to travel at this time because of the quarantine periods. Briefly going, of course, now with the work done by the Hong Kong Jockey Club, but coming back, they miss out on the big races at the end of the year, and paramount being the Adi McKinnon, which is the richest race in terms of not necessarily the prize money, but in terms of credential. So I think that is one reason we have as many horses that have gone. But fortunately, the horses that are going have picked up some great jockeys. I don't think it's going to be 3 out of 4. It might be scraping the barrel with 1.
Admire Mars and Winbright are the 2 horses that are coming back to defend their titles. 2020, how have things been for those 2 horses?
Yeah, Winbright, he's like the Asian Preston of Japanese racing. He can only win in Hong Kong. I can't see him winning this year. I mean, he is a different horse. He's not in the same form he was last year. He might very well do it, but I think we were surprised that he did it last year, and of course backed up with 2 wins in a row. But no, he wouldn't be one of the horses that I would consider. Admire Mars has Christophe Soumillon, and I think Admire Mars's run, of course, at the weekend in the Mile Championship was a good one. Is it good enough to win in Hong Kong? And with the current crop, I don't think so. I think the horse can probably run second, but you've got a pretty good horse running around in Hong Kong at the moment at that level.
Yes, Golden 60, he's something out of the box. He's a horse that we're really excited about here. 2 horses in the sprint. Japan have got a good record in it, thanks to Lord Kanaloa. What can you tell us about these 2 in the sprint, Murray?
Well, going back to my days going to Hong Kong in the 90s, I was always backing the Japanese sprinters, and I learnt very quickly that was one way to empty your wallet and never get anything back. So I was reluctant to even talk about Japanese sprinters for 10 years. Lord Kanaloa was, I think, the exception. This year, I don't think the sprint is actually a very strong race. Now, having said that, of course, there's a very much the unknown about Classic Legend. He could be vulnerable, and I think that opens the chances up for probably more Tower of London. Tower of London was going to race at the Hanshin Cup, but they decided when the Hong Kong offer came along, they thought, well, let's go, because he does run very well right-handed, and he runs very excellent times right-handed. Now, he hasn't raced since May, I think it is, so that could be an issue. And it's the first time that Godolphin have taken a horse from Japan. First time this horse has travelled, which is in itself great news. Down on Smash is in great form, has a great jockey. They've got, both the Buick and Moore are riding the two Japanese horses in the sprint. So I wouldn't deny their chances. And I think out of all of the races, that could be the one that Japan could win if Classic Legend doesn't turn up.
Oh, there you go, Bill. Very forthright opinion there from Murray. Thinks the sprint is Japan's best chance. I thought Admire Mars was super on the weekend. They're behind Grand Allegria. Yeah,
and Grand Allegria is just, as I said earlier, in a different class. So when you look at the way Admire Mars ran on that race, 3 wide, no cover, and he kept fighting to the end, I think that signaled that he's ready for this race. And, that's, the two unknowns, I guess, would be how Classique Legend responds to the transition from Australia to Hong Kong with the quarantine, and also how Golden 60 handles the tougher competition in the mile. Yeah, Christophe Soumillon's here in Hong Kong in quarantine already as well. He'll get out on the big day, December the 13th also. But we thank Murray for his honest thoughts there. Bill, that's about all we've got time for. So thanks for your time today. Enjoy the next 2 weeks as well. Get really busy as the build up to the big day. We'll do that. Thanks very much. All right, there you go. We've still got, of course, a couple of meetings to go before we get to HKIR week with the Chevalier Cup coming up this weekend. It's race number 7 on the programme. Great lineup as well. Buddy's top weight. You've got Lucky Express, Sky Darcy down in the weights as well. Back at Happy Valley on Wednesday night, then return to Sha Tin. Then the week after that is IJC night back at the Valley, and then International Day. That is the second Sunday in December. So we're going to leave you this week with one of last year's winner, and it was a horse we've talked a fair bit about. Admire Mars as well, beating White Cuckoo and Beauty Generation amongst others. Can he repeat? We'll find out in a couple of weeks' time. But thanks for watching today. Our thanks to Bill Nader, our special guest as well. Enjoy this, and we'll bring all the action from Sunday from Sha Tin direct to you.
Ka Ying Star joined by Beauty Generation. He still looks light on his feet at the moment, the champ. He takes the lead, Beauty Generation, from Ka Ying Star. Wider out, Normcore, Admire Mars, White Cuckoo, Indy Champ back to the rail. Beauty Generation tiring. Admire Mars and White Cuckoo have gone to him. Admire Mars from White Cuckoo. It's the Japanese 3-year-old colt, Admire Mars, to win the mile.